Good morning. Good morning. We are in a new month and we are looking at the victim and the victimizer, what it's like to live in victim mentality. That's maybe a heavy concept to look at, but when we get to the root of it, it's incredibly freeing because the whole job of the victim mentality is to keep us small. At some point in our life, and I don't think we can find a person on the planet who hasn't had an experience like this. There was a trauma. And the difference lies in that trauma became that person's reality. The mindset that they derived from that trauma became their reality. And so at that point, the trauma occurs, we have two roads that can be taken. One is that we believe it to be true. We believe it to be part of us. And the other is that this has happened and I will overcome it. And there are so many reasons why we might take one path than the other. It's not a better or worse or I shoulda, coulda, woulda situation. It just happened that way. The most important thing to realize is that we're currently living as if the past is the truth. And what we know from being avid meditators is that we're not our stories. Our stories are experiences, and we learn through meditation and these talks, hopefully, that we can live beyond those traumas, beyond those experiences, beyond those parts and partners that try to keep us small. And so we might find that this victimized part, rears its head when we're being a little bit pushed, when we're being asked to grow or to do something that's not in our comfort zone, because the entire motivation of the victim mentality or the victimizer, because in my title I said, are we both the victim and the victimizer? And we are. That part comes in and victimizes us and said, oh, no, you are small. Don't move forward. Its job is to keep you small because in being small, we feel protected. We learned that it's better to stay small because being small will keep you safe. And so that becomes our lived experience now, that whenever something pushes me, I'm going to reject it. No, I'm safer here. I'm safer as the victim. This is just a mindset. It's not a reality. And so hopefully this month, we're going to look at ways to free ourselves from thinking that way. We're going to have deep conversations with our part that is telling us that this is the truth. We're going to use hypno-meditation, of course, to get kind of underneath it. But we're also going to use some new tools that I hope will help give us another path, because that's all we're looking for is when this comes up, we recognize it. We're like, oh, right, this is me being a victim. No one outside is doing anything to me. I'm just assuming they are. I'm just projecting that they are. How do I take another step? What is the new direction that I can walk in? And so that is how we're going to approach this month, is finding, of course, always giving great gratitude to the part that has victimized us, because in the moment it did it, in the moment that part was born from the trauma, it did help us. It did keep us safe. But that's no longer the truth as an adult. This thing could have happened when you were 2 or 4 or 6 or 10, but now you're much older. You don't need that. You have more tools now. And so we can, instead of rejecting the world, rejecting anything that's going to ask us to grow, blaming others for our current situation, we're going to find new ways to discover who we really are, to live more deeply in our potential. And one of the best ways that I know to always do this is through a meaningful meditation, a hypno meditation. So let us find our comfortable seat and breathe into our gazing point and find that quiet land inside of you. A place where there is a singular feeling, and that feeling is of the unshakable self. When you have fully landed, you feel content in your body, let the breath quiet you just a little more so that it's easy to let your eyes close. Perhaps you can fall more deeply into this moment in time, this unshakable self, or if you will, the seat of the Buddha, so that we can relax these thoughts. We can relax these definitions and find some space between who we really are and who we have assumed ourselves to be. We are deep in the unshakable self. There's a quiet and a peace and a contentment. When we are in any other part, there's a feeling of separation, mild or extreme agitation, disconnection. Very clear where we are. We can breathe into that shift and come right back home. When we come home, we have the courage to look more deeply into those parts of us that pull us away. We can look at them not with disappointment or further rejection or any of the energies that have created them to begin with. Instead, we offer them love. We offer them gratitude. We're always there to help us. The only issue is they stayed too long. You might be feeling, visualizing, or experiencing a time in your life when you actually were the victim. Something real happened to you. Something that pulled you away from the truth of who you are. And the reflection back to you was not pure love, but something else. Your psyche had to come in and help. Whenever we go back into our past, if that's happening for you, we make sure we put our seatbelt on so that we really are sitting deeply in the seat of the Buddha and the shining of the love. So no part of it gets re-triggered. Just see it for what it was. A more mature, more integrated, more loving place. That is the beginning of the healing. Know who you really are. As you sit with the energy, with the story, allow the singing bells to create even more space between you and the story. And let those bells lift your vibration so that the energy inside of you is bigger than just your body, maybe even bigger than the room you're in. Invite that vibration to keep growing, to keep healing. As you're ready, in your own time, noticing how you're feeling, opening your eyes, and if you like, then